I've always been interested in making a paper armor suit ever since I first saw the Mythbusters episode about paper armor. Years later, I've decided to create my own paper armor. Doing a little research, I decided to use ancient methods of making lamellar armor to make my own paper armor. Here's how you do it. As you can see, I've already made paper armor, and this is the real deal. This is not sloppy cosplay armor made of folded paper and rolled up paper tubes and held together with tape. Using real armor making methods along with personally conceived methods, I've created paper armor that is a work of art and a piece of armor that has the potential to protect against light weapon attacks. I got the Alright, let's get to it.
Awesome as I wanna be.
First, you need paper, obviously. You can use any paper you want as long as it's strong enough to not be torn by basic tension. For this armor, I used binder paper from a previous school year, which I recommend to cut costs from using brand new paper and to also help the environment. You'll need a lot of it, so start hoarding paper if you don't have any lying around. Next, you will need string. It is recommended you use a thick string so that your armor will last longer and be less susceptible to breaking apart. Although not recommended, I will be using ribbon to weave my armor together. Next is the device to punch holes. I recommend to use a thick hole punch, as it is easier to control, aim, and see the process of hole punching your paper plates. You may use any device necessary to make holes in your plates, but the one I recommend is the one being presented. Next is a writing utensil. Use any you like, just make sure the marks it creates is easily visible when applied to your paper of choice. The following supplies, although not absolutely necessary, help a lot during the process and are supplies I recommend if you have them at your disposal. Next are binder clips. They can be used to hold a plate together to help stabilize the main layers of paper when hole punching. They can also be used as temporary stoppers for your lacing, so you do not have to permanently tie off the end of a layer of plates. Next are paper clips. They are used to group together your plates as to keep them straight and in the exact amount for a smoother process of paper armor making. Next are your cutting utensils. They can be used to cut various materials you wish to cut, such as paper, string, and whatnot. Next is something heavy. This can be used to weigh down a strip of plates or levitate a section of the armor, which can make the process of weaving a little bit easier. Next is the trash can. This is going to get messy. Next is music or a video to watch. Although it sounds ridiculous, I enjoy making my armor the most when a foreign media is playing in the background, so I know you will too. I hope. First thing you should do is decide what size of a plate you are to make your armor out of. You may choose whatever size you want, but there are advantages and disadvantages of both plates. Bigger plates take less time to make and are generally easier to maintain. However, bigger plates don't disperse blows as effectively as small plates. They also don't allow as much flexibility as small plates, and also are not as precise when it comes to fitting to your body right. Smaller plates can more precisely fit around your body, disperse the blow better than bigger plates, and are more flexible. However, they are generally harder to maintain due to the amount of turns the string must go through, and take longer to make than big plates since you must make a lot of them. In this demonstration, I will use 1/8 plates. This project uses holes as part of weaving the armor together, so you will need to create a template for the holes. There are many ways to configure the holes for a plate, but this is what configuration I use. Feel free to use any configuration you want, but for the sake of easy following, I recommend to use the one I use. The template should be made out of cardboard, and the size of the plate should be exactly the size of the plates you plan to make. Now we're going to start making the plates. First, you must tear your paper supply into the size you wish to make your plates. While this is being done, you should decide how many sheets thick you want your plate to be. I use 28 sheets per plate, but you may use more or less sheets. During this process, you may use the paper clips to group your plates together for easy sorting and storage. Make as many as you like or as many as you can. Alright, before we move on, I said that I used 28 sheets on my plate. 28 with 2 8. Anyway, let's go to the hole punching. Next, you must make holes for the plates. I recommend to split your plates into smaller groups for hole punching, since your hole puncher most likely cannot punch through 28 sheets at a time. After splitting my plates into 4s, I then shall trace the template onto the first sheet of each group. After that is done, it is time to punch the holes accordingly. This process goes a lot smoother when you utilize the binder clips to stabilize the plates. After that is done, use a slim stick to align the groups of the plate. Then use a paper clip to hold them together. You have now created a plate with holes needed for lacing. Repeat this process to make as many plates as you like or as many as you need. Before we go into weaving the armor together, there is something important that you need to know. If you're using a string thick enough, you can start and end a string by simply tying it off. Due to the thin nature of my ribbon, this is not possible, so you may need to make a stopper. The stopper is consisted of a small flat material that has a hole punched through it. To use a stopper, you tie your ribbon to the stopper and weave it through a hole. As shown, you now see how the stopper works and its role in the weaving process. When you are done weaving a layer, simply tie another stopper into the end of the ribbon. Now that you have your plates made, it is time to weave the plates together to make the basis of your armor. As seen here, this is what I refer to as a layer of plates. Seeing the design of my previous armors, the making of these layers is the basis of creating this armor, as the armor is simply many layers of plates connected to fit the shape of your body. To make a layer of plates, do as done in the following sequence. First, from the back, you weave the string through the top left hole of the plate. Then you weave the string into the bottom left hole. Then you must weave the string through the top right hole so that the string sits diagonally on the back of the plate. This method provides support to the back of the plate, making the armor more effective. Then you take the next plate and weave the string through the top left of that plate, as shown. Then you must weave the string through the bottom left of the second plate and weave it through the bottom right of the first plate. As you can see, the two plates are now connected. Repeat this process until you have a layer that is as long as desired. I recommend you end the string with a binder clip first, so that if you made the layer too long or too short, you do not have to start the process all over again. When making layers, you should alternate the direction that each layers go. As you can see, this layer stacks to the left, while this one to the right. This allows maximum flexibility in your armor, and will allow a wider range of movement. Let's say you have made as many layers as you desired. Now how do you connect them? This process is tricky and can be very entangling, so try to bear with me. As you can see, there are holes on the top and the bottom of these plates. This is where these holes come in. First, from the back, you weave a string through the bottom hole. Then you take the layer that will go on top of the first layer and weave the string through the bottom of the two holes through the corresponding plate. Then you weave the string through the top of the two holes and then back into the bottom hole of the plate behind it. Then you weave the string through the bottom hole of the next plate, then repeat the process. As you can see, the layers are now connected. Now that you know how to make plates and how to weave them, you are basically set to make any armor you desire. There's some information on weaving that I left out, such as how to weave the strap, but just get creative and hone your engineering skills and you'll be fine. Good luck and have fun. There are many ways to design the armor. Well, let me show you how I would do it. This is the most simple way you can make lamellar armor in my opinion. Some things to point out are that there is space underneath the armpit to allow maximum possible arm movement while wearing the armor. The lower half of the torso armor wraps completely around, almost like a cylinder, and that the chest and upper back portion consist of two separate pieces of rectangles. There are also basically two rectangles that dangle from the strap that is used as shoulder guards. Hey guys, I'm Ricky Dolka and this is Yu-Gi-Oh! Champs 1. Today, we're going to be testing out the paper armor. So let's get to it! Okay, so out here, we're going to test the paper armor with various weapons we have here. As you can see, we're going to use this watermelon as basically an analog for human flesh because, you know, the hard tusk of a watermelon is a good representation of the soft flesh of a human. Okay, so we have our weapons here, and we put it into two categories, blades and blunt weapons. Pretty simple. So the first thing we're going to test for the blade is this stiletto. This is probably the pointiest knife that I have in my house, and if I have paper armor stop something this pointy, I've really done something right. Next we have a butterfly knife. This is not really made of stab since I wore out the tip quite a lot, but it's just really fun to stab things with butterfly knives. Next we have probably the pointiest kitchen knife that we have. And then we have probably the biggest and probably the sharpest meat cleaver in our kitchen. So that's what we have for the bladed weapons. Next we're going to go to the blunt weapons. First we have basically a baton, which is just a mini baseball bat my friend got at some baseball game. And then we got the real deal baseball bat, probably the most iconic bludgeoning weapon you can have. Besides these Bruce Lee sticks. And then as a bonus, we're going to throw in these Lego brass knuckles, because why the heck not? now that we got our weapons out of the way, let's get to testing them. Okay, the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna test it on this watermelon without the armor so that you guys could see what it is that we're avoiding. Alright, let's go with the first weapon. Spray gun this word. Next, got the butterfly knife. Next, we got this thing. Next, we got the meat cleaver. Brace yourself. Okay, so we tested all the knives. Now let's look at the watermelon. Alright, coming close. See these cuts right here? That is kind of what we're avoiding. See that gash? That's kind of what we're avoiding. You see this? This is what we're totally avoiding. Alright, first we're going to use the brass knuckles because we're going to test these weapons from weakest, probably the greatest amount of damage. And of course, the brass knuckles are going to be the weakest, alright? Ready? 2, 1. Ow! Man, that actually hurts me. Oh! Alright, now we're going to do the Bruce Lee sticks. Oh! Woo!
Other direction.
Try. Breathe. Bleed. Now, we're doing all those. Damn! Think you like a champ! Oh! Look at that! We did some serious damage. Woo! So, that's what's left of the watermelon. If the paper armor is going to protect against the blunt weapon, this is probably what the watermelon shouldn't look like afterwards. As you can see, we put a fresh watermelon on here. And you know what time it is? It's time to test that paper armor. So, we're going to put this thing on here. And boom, beautiful. Just keep it on there. There we go. You ready to test this?
Hell yeah.
Alright, as you can see, we got the paper armor on. Now let's test it. First, the good old stiletto. You ready? Ah! Alright, try the butterfly knife. Ah! Let's do that again. Ah! Yo, it went through the armor. Alright, now we're gonna try this. Ah! Alright, now we're gonna just kill the meat cleaver. Ah, yeah. Ah, yeah. As you can see, this is the watermelon. There are some stab marks here, so it shows that the armor is not that good when it comes to stabbing, taking just stabs. When it comes to chops, now it stopped it from coming through, but still put a heck of a dent in the watermelon. This armor will stop knives. It's just that it's gonna hurt like heck still. But then, you know, it's not as bad as the previous watermelon when it got chopped up and stabbed up. But so it's gonna stop the chops and the slashes, but it's probably not gonna stop at the stabs as reliably. Now we're gonna test out blunt weapons. First up, I guess we'll do the Bruce Lee sticks. Do it again. Now we're gonna do the baton. Ah, yeah. See that? A ton of blood. You know what that means. Let's continue with the show. Now I'm gonna do the brass knuckles. Ah! Well, you know, that kind of worked. Alright. You ready for this? Let's hope this doesn't go bad. Ah! Yeah! Yeah! So we tested the paper armor. As you can see, this is basically what's left of it. It is wet, it is torn apart, and it's just absolutely decimated. So what do you conclude? What do you conclude about this test that we did today?
Paper's not good material for armor.
Alright, so this is what I concluded. Basically what he said, but I'm going to conclude some more further. As you can see, it's wet. That totally compromised the armor. So this armor is really bad if you're fighting in the rain. This is also really bad protecting against stabbing attacks, but it's actually pretty dang good at stopping slashes and chops. But then it's also really bad at stopping blunt weapons. As you can see from the footage, we completely decimated the watermelon way before we even used the baseball bat, which is probably the most powerful weapon we had. So yeah, this is armor, and we concluded that it's not that great of armor. Anything you'd like to say before we tune out?
No.
Alright, this is Rick Dawkins, Yu-Gi-Oh! Chess 1. Peace out!